Silence. Location: Särna, a small town in northern Sweden. Character: Elias, an 18-year-old, overly cautious and paranoid young man. Problem: something is happening in the town, but no one is talking, because there is a rule here. Elias moved to this town from Stockholm with his family a few years ago. He had psychological problems, in particular, his hypersensitivity to sounds and his fear of being followed. Doctors said it was paranoia, but Elias thought differently. He was sure that something was really watching him. Särna seemed quiet and peaceful at first, but he soon noticed. In this town, no one talked at night. They didn't even whisper. At night, people would close the windows with black curtains, turning off the lights completely, and every morning, no one talked about what happened last night. One night, Elias saw shadows moving outside. They were silent, quick, and they stopped for a moment in front of the window and looked inside. But the strange thing was there was no snow outside, but it had been falling since morning. These shadows did not leave any traces. One night he could not stand it anymore and went outside. He took his flashlight and left his phone on so that he could record the sound. Silence had fallen over the town, but then he heard a thin whistling sound coming from the old town church, and then a whisper, "Don't talk. They will hear." When he turned around, the old town librarian was there. The woman approached with panic in her eyes. "Elias, you mustn't talk. We have lost those who talk at night. They live in sound. The less sound, the less power. It's a curse." Elias ran away. The next day, the woman's house was empty. Everyone said he never existed. The next night, Elias heard footsteps coming from under his house. And then, whispers. The voices were talking about him. But the most frightening thing was, "Elias, we know your voice. You can't hide." Elias stopped talking completely. He installed soundproof panels in his house. He started written communication, but this increased his madness, because at some point, even silence started to make sound. He wrote in his last diary, "I can no longer silence the hum in the silence. Even my own breathing could be calling them. Maybe they never existed, but what if they do exist and we are making them talk?" Then Elias disappeared. The house was found empty. The diary was carved on the wall. The electricity was gone, and the townspeople remained silent as usual, because in Särna, silence was not a choice but a necessity. Subscribe to the channel for part 2 and state what caught your attention in the comments.